Hey everyone, Sean here from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and welcome to Chapter 3 of the USS Constellation damage version from AMT. Now, this is Chapter 3 out of 4, everyone. The final chapter is just going to be a little bit of talking and then the final reveal. It's going to be a short 15-minute video for that one, and this one was pushing about 35 minutes, so we just decided to cut it off where it was and keeping these videos at a manageable level. So what's in this one? A lot of detail, everyone. We're going through a lot of painting techniques, demonstrating how the damage effects were applied and kind of the techniques that I discovered and developed as I went along. So as a reminder, didn't look at any previous videos or any other things, kind of winged it on this one. Wanted to see where my talents would take me. So I am pretty happy with it, and it was really fun and exciting to start doing this stuff and to see this kind of coming out. And hopefully you get to see a little bit of that in this video of seeing these details finally coming out. You see the ship kind of come to life, per se, as it were, even though it's damaged and dead, but you know what I mean. So anyway, folks, the final reveal video is going to be up in just a few days. It's going to be a quick edit. That's going to be about a 15-minute reveal video, and then we'll be moving on to the next project. And speaking of the next projects, I am still working on the Jupiter 2, and that one will be a slow progress. There's a lot to do on that one. And other than that, I've got a couple cool ideas planned, everyone. I've got a 350 original series Enterprise build that's going to be started. We're going to make a really cool project out of that one, and then we're going to be doing another couple ideas that I have lurking around in my head here. So with that, everyone, we're going to let you go into the video. Thanks again for all of your attention, and if you have not yet subscribed but you're enjoying these videos, would really appreciate a subscription. Hopefully you've earned it on that, and hopefully you're enjoying these as much as I'm enjoying making them. We're right there, almost at 500 subs, folks. We can feel it. Looking forward to really getting over that hump, and I've got some good, neat surprises in store for when we pass that threshold. Really excited to bring those to you. So enjoy the video, everyone. Thanks again for watching, and happy modeling. All right, everybody, here we are, and most of it's all done. We're getting ready to close up the model. So I've put the bottom part of the saucer section onto the hull of the ship, and she's starting to look really good, folks. And I did a little bit further detail here on the sides of the ships. I put these little round pieces that go horizontally in there to kind of contrast the up and down of these main support beams. And of course, there are some of these little panels there that are left behind. And also the same on the other side here. Just put some of these little horizontal jobs in there, and it just added a little bit level of detail and some cool, interesting things to look at. Don't even know what they are. Couldn't even pretend. Maybe pipes, maybe channeling for wires. Who knows? But it's cool, I think, anyway. So the wiring has been, of course, put through the bottom of the ship here and through here to the top, and it's just secured with some tape. And so these are the main power lines that are going to go there. I did install the pulsating light here into the impulse engine deck, and the white part here is just some putty that I put in to fill the gap. Now, I did learn something here. So as opposed to the previous times I've done this kit, the other times I've done it, I've built the saucer section separately and then installed the impulse engine here. So this time around, I've installed the impulse engine to the bottom half of the saucer section. There's two little nubs here where you can see this white bit here. That's putty, and there's little notches in there for it. And so I just light blocked it and glued it on, and then put the putty there to fill the line, because there is some gap here between the impulse engine and where it connects to the saucer section, as well as underneath here on this side, which you can see a little bit more clearly because I did do a little bit of light blocking here with this black paint that you see. Excuse me. I did put quite a bit of light blocking here. This is all just for this one little light in there, and I did do some additional blocking, like I put some styrene on the side of the impulse engine that I don't want lit, and then there's the tape, of course, that's covering that, and I did paint the inside of it red. So I'm hoping when I turn it on, I won't have to paint the outside of it. That'll look kind of cool. It'll look like a pulsating red effect. We'll see. So, however it turns out, it's going to turn out. So, if I need to, I can always paint the other side here. But the inside is painted with a clear red. And then there's also some putty. Well, not putty, rather. Let me get my flashlight. So where I'm signing right here, where this wire goes in, there's a little hole there that I had to drill, and so I filled it with super glue, the CA glue. Hit it with the quick set, and then put black paint over it. So that's light block too, so that pulsating light won't come back out here into the saucer section. This is all secured and locked up. Okay, so there's one light there, and then of course I have the two lights here that we talked about. There's the positive power for that that's here, and there's the negative there. So I'm gonna later today solder on some regular blue and yellow wires here, and give it a good 6-7 inches there, so I can easily connect them to this part here. And then we'll just carefully close it up, give it a good glue, and then let that set, and then I'll go ahead and do the putty work on the seams for the saucer section, which on this kit end up being on the side of the model. But that should be fine. They're nice and flush. I haven't painted them yet, and we'll get that all sanded down. And then once that's complete, we'll primer this up with the Tamiya Fine White Primer, and then start with the details. So she is looking good, and I mean that in the way that, she's damaged, so how good can she look? But if you can see here, this blackened bit there, so that's just a hint of what the effects are going to look like. We're going to paint some silver in there and get some details and other colors. I have some oily steel color that I'm going to might put in a few areas, and then of course we've got a flashing light coming out of one of these beams here, and we've got one coming out of this side. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really anxious to get this painted and start on the details, and then get the decals on. I'm really excited for this kit, everyone. And hopefully when Admiral Teague opens up this thing, he will be just as excited as I was to make it, I hope. So we'll see. Alrighty, folks, enough of that. We'll come back after I get the primer, I think. So yeah, I've already talked about the wiring that I'm going to do, so that's pretty simple, so I don't need to show that. And yeah, so I'll wire it up, close it, sand it down, get that puttied up and ready to go. And so I think the next time I'll record, we will have this all primered, so I'll show it at that stage, and then talk a little bit more about any ideas I might have and what the next steps are. Okay, see you soon. Hey everybody, so the priming is all completed on the model, and I am ready to start painting in some of the detail here. So the plan of attack is to start with the metal parts that are going to be exposed. We're going to be painting that kind of a silver color. I'm going to be using this flat aluminum from Tamiya, XF16. And so that is going to get painted into these little nooks and crannies all in there. Excuse me. And then, so basically any place that there's some damage, I'm going to be doing a base coat of this silver. So that is the first thing to point out. Another thing I want to point out is I actually recorded this segment earlier and then decided to redo it because over here there was a little bit of putty still showing, and I was going to just kind of let it go. And then after priming it and looking at it, I decided to do some more sanding. Now, under here, you'll see, you may not be able to see it on the camera, but there is some scuffing here that I smoothed out because there was some nicks with the Dremel that I did. So I think I'm probably going to end up painting, doing some extra damage, like some weathering effects here, just to kind of cover up this and these little seam lines. So I'm going to have to kind of smudge some of this stuff. Again, because this bottom piece, I really had to destroy it and then reassemble it in pieces and fill the gap. So we're going to have to simulate some damage there as well. So thankfully, it's on the underside of the ship, and most people aren't going to be looking there. So I'll just do some extra damage there. Other than that, the priming is all done. It came out really nice and smooth. I'm very happy with it. And I've got the other little pieces that go here to the nacelles. They're painted and over on the paint station over there at the end of the garage. So, okay, so that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and use my airbrush and just kind of get in here really nice and easy. And I'm going to pause the video. I'll record some of that just so you can see it, and then we'll talk what the next steps are. Be right back. Okay, everyone. And here we go. So I got the flat aluminum here, loaded here in the airbrush, and tested it out, and it's coming out okay. So I'm going to go very lightly because I have to get very, very close to the inside here. So if I put too much paint out, it's actually probably going to repel out and spray back on me. So going very slowly. And I'm basically just covering the whole thing. So this is an undercoat. And we're going to be doing some paint like flecking techniques and stuff to do this as we go forward. So it'll make a little bit more sense. So basically anywhere there's damage, putting in some of this flat aluminum in there. Trying to get it from all angles, because there's a lot of stuff going on in here, a lot of different things blocking one or another. So if I look at it this way, I'm going to see more, and I'll see more this way. So I think that's a pretty good start. Let that dry out. And I'm just going to go here to this area. And again, anywhere we're seeing some damage, there we go. Hit the bottom. I had a little bit of that marker left over, so I hit that a little bit heavier. Hopefully I'm in camera there. All right. Now also on here, I just want to point out, I want to make sure I get these edges. Okay. Okay. Really coming along cool here. It's actually just starting to take its own shape, and oh, got a little splatter there. So when that excuse me, when that happens, this is a good hopefully I'll leave this in. When this little splatter happens, sometimes what I do is just after I see that, I'll hit it and just do a full release of the paint just to kind of clear it out. Let me just wipe this off here. Probably didn't need to. I just didn't want any bumps of paint showing off, so that's fine. And it's okay to extend the paint outside. So I'm hitting all the areas where it's damaged, but it's okay to extend outside because we want to have that gradual damage look to it. I mean, we don't want like one line going around, so where you see it, it's going to like fade out toward the hull. Hopefully I'm explaining this adequately. Looking really cool from my perspective. Hopefully it's looking nice on the camera too. and hopefully you're getting the idea of what we're doing here. So I am trying to be careful not to shoot it into the little beams there where I have the little fiber optic lights. I don't want to paint over that. It's probably fine. They're buried pretty deep in there. So I did kind of think ahead about doing this, but you never know, right? So, all right. Okay. Should I do? Yeah, I should just do a little bit here just in case. A little bit there. Okay, I'm going to take a little look around here. Let me zoom out so you can kind of see. So it looks pretty good. See a couple little fuzzies or hairs or something like that. All right. Looking good. Oh, missed some here. You know, it's funny because like now that I'm painting it, I realized I had added a lot more damage than I thought. So this kind of shows you when you think you're when you're going with subtle. Like, I'm a big believer, and I'm going to keep repeating this a lot. Less is more, and even when you think you're doing less, you probably could cut out some of what you're doing. But that being said, I did add a little bit of extra against these sides here. I don't think this damage is in the show on the side of the hull, but I had to do that in order to get this thing to actually look right. So this is the little bit of artistic license I'm taking with this, and hopefully Admiral Teague will forgive me that. But yeah, so I'm just going through here and hitting a little bit heavier now that I've got everything covered, especially here on the sides. I do have a light in here, and I have a light here, right there. There's some tape over that one. All right, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to pour out the rest of this tape here, and give this a few minutes to dry, and then I'll start hitting it with some black. We'll go put it over by the fan, and it should be okay to start painting over it pretty soon. So see you soon. All right, everybody, we're making some good progress here, and as you can see, I have a couple of coats of the Tamiya XF12, which is that nice gray color that we like for the Enterprise hull, and there is some things to talk about here. So if you recall, I did go and spray some silver into these areas here as well as the outside. So we kind of give that undercoat color. So this is like that bare metal, unpainted color, like if you were to sand down a car or something, take all the paint off. So that is our undercoat. So most of this is going to be black. Most of the damage here is going to be black because the Doomsday machine was extremely powerful, and as you can see in the show clips and the stills and stuff that we'll throw up here, most of the things are black. But I do want a little bit of this silver coming through, a little bit of depth, a little bit of color variation. So we're going to employ a technique called the salt and hairspray technique, and this is a really cool method that is quite frequently used in military builds, and what it does is it gives us the effect of paint flecking and little bits of silver showing through some other stuff. So it's a pretty cool technique. I'm going to give it a try on this here. So what you need is a can of regular, just cheapy hairspray. Aquanet's fine. I got this Rave. It was on sale at the store. Just cheap hairspray. I recommend unscented, as this one is. And what you do is you spray the area that you want to have this paint flecking or some weathering. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. And you spray it, and this hairspray is sticky. So once you get the hairspray on there, immediately you just take a pinch of salt in your fingers, and you just flick it on there with your fingers. Not flick it, but just let it fall out, and it will randomly go into some areas and like that. So then you let the hairspray dry, of course. Then you paint your top coat or your next layer of color. And after that's done, what you do is you take a regular toothbrush, and an old one that you're not going to use again for in the bathroom for your own teeth. You just take a toothbrush, maybe a little bit of water, and you just lightly scrub, and it flecks that salt off and it dissolves it, leaving behind little bits of the undercoat because the salt acts as kind of a mask. So you get these little tiny grains here. You can also do this with kosher salt. It would work too, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this and see how it goes. So, and the reason, by the way, before I go on, so the order of painting that I chose here, I just want to talk about that real quick. Started off with just the silver for the undercoat. Then I put this paint on, and once I get this salt on, the reason I'm putting it on now is because as I'm spraying the gray, a little bit is getting on there, even though I'm trying to avoid it. So I don't want to cover up too much. I want whatever silver's there, I want it to come through. So sprayed the silver, sprayed a little bit of the gray on here. Then I am putting the salt on. Then we'll finish up the top coat of the gray. And once that's all nice and dry and I've gotten all the nooks and crannies here, then I will take the black paint and paint all the burn parts of it. Once that's done, then we'll take our toothbrush and scrub it off. So I will say this, though, it is a little bit harder to paint this when the ship's fully assembled like this. There's some advantages to doing it in sub-assemblies, but I chose to just put it all together and do it that way because I wasn't wiring it, and I just want to kind of give this a try and see how I could do. I'm sure it'll be fine. This might take a little bit more work to do, like the nacelle caps. Maybe I should have painted those first, but alas, I did not. So we'll take care of it. All right, so without further ado, I'm shaking up the old hairspray here, and I'm going to start with this part here. So let me give it a test. There we go. Take a little salt. And you don't have to put it everywhere. I'm going to put it around the edges here because I think that's probably where it would be flecking more. Okay. That should be good. Now we'll move on to the next area. There we go. A little salt there. And a little bit more here. And I'm just, again, making sure to get around the edges. Because I think the edges is where it would be more prevalent, the damage there. All right. So that's pretty much the technique. I'm going to finish the rest of these there and let that dry. And then after a little bit of time, I'll continue painting the gray and get that all nice. And then when that's dried, hopefully later this evening, I'll be able to paint the damage on and really get rocking on this. I think today I should be able to finish this painting if luck holds out. Okay, all of the hairspray is done here. I just wanted to take a quick minute and let you know if you are going to do this at home. So I did, sprinkled the salt all over the damaged areas here. But what I'm seeing, you probably can't see it on the screen here, some of the salt obviously went around outside of that damage area. So once this is all dried, I'm just going to take my finger and just brush it off, or a blue roll, blue towel or something like that, and just brush off that salt off of the excess and get that off, because I don't want that to block. Obviously I have to finish painting the model, so there's that. The other thing is I am probably going to go ahead and sand this a little bit. Some of the spraying that I did, I got a little bit of splatter on there, so I'm going to sand that down once this is all dry and give it a nice smooth finish. Wipe it down with my tack cloth, and then continue painting. So not terrible by any means or anything. It's just normal stuff. I did want to mention that on here. So okay, folks, see you very soon. Okay, everyone, hopefully you can hear me okay. I've got the camera up pretty high, and I just wanted to record some of what I'm doing here. So all of the gray is done as far as I can tell, and I am now going and putting the black highlights of the damage to the ship, and it's looking really cool. I'm super excited about doing this, and I just wanted to kind of document what I'm doing. So I'm going extremely light, and just very lightly starting from the middle and working my way out, and then to gradually get the blackness fading away. What I'm doing as I'm circling and doing this, I'm pulling the airbrush back a little bit and easing off on the pressure. So I just wanted to demonstrate that for you in case you were interested. So let me zoom in here on this bit right here. In fact, I'll zoom out a little so I can get the nacelle and this part here. Okay. So I'm barely pulling back, and again, I have a dual action airbrush, so when I push down, it's just air, and then when I pull back, the paint comes out. So I'm barely pulling back. Just releasing a little at a time, going very slowly. And then slowly working my way out. And as I work my way out, I pull back to get a lighter concentration of the damage, of the black. Even further, I'm a few inches away now. I might even be off camera, but it still is landing on there. So as you can see there, now it looks like a pretty nice dispersal. So now I'm going to come back in the middle and pull a little bit harder just on the middle and let a little thicker bit go, and then I'm going to do it again coming out. It's almost negligible, and if you're doing this, it's okay. If you don't see anything happening, no problem. And then what I'm doing here is I'm kind of going upward strokes like that to get kind of streaks going. Just subtle, just very lightly. And not around the entire thing, but just little bits there to kind of, got to be a little bit random with it to get a good look. Because I don't have enough room to turn this in with my decorating tool. So I'm going to come back here and touch these up. And if you want to do one big streak going one way, that's fine. So now I'm just very, very lightly going further and further out. Almost can't even see it. I just want that to be very gradual coming out. Okay. My finger's getting sore. So there we have it. Let me zoom out some. And I'll just do one more little bit here for the under part of this nacelle, just to document some of this. Starting from the middle, and I can see the salt that I'd put on there, so that's going to be pretty cool. Gonna ease up. I'm going a little bit heavy on there. Lift this up a little just to get the edge. I'm giving a couple very heavy shots here just to give a little bit of variety. Okay. All right, everyone, that's it. I just wanted to document this, and so you can kind of see this stuff come to life. And I'm pretty happy with it. This looks pretty cool. Actually, I'm really excited. All right, we'll come back when everything's all finished. Okay, everyone, all of the battle damage is pretty much done here. I just might have a few things to go and touch up later, but I've got the ship powered on, and I've basically only have two lights here that you're going to be able to see here. So here's one of them. This is the flickering yellow SMD that is feeding into a fiber optic wire. So the actual light is like around here somewhere, and it's feeding right through that drilled out piece of styrene. And that's a pretty cool looking effect there. And then over here on the port side, I've got a white one. Let me zoom in, maybe it'll focus. There we go. And that's just a flickering white light. And that's it. So all the damage came out really cool. You might hear some noise. It's raining pretty hard outside. So I've got the damage here. The light's not too good here. I had the light off so you could see the flickering effect. But yeah, so looking pretty good. And I put these couple of pieces here on the back of the nacelles. You see this one I just chopped off because the damage would have probably destroyed it. So I did chop that thing off, and I'm going to have to paint some damage there on the part where I snipped it. It's white there. So I'll paint that black. And then, I got my microphone. Sorry about that. Yeah, everything came out really, really cool. So just a few details on the paints that I have to do. So I have to paint the cell, the Bussard collectors. I'm going to do them like a maroon color, kind of like the TOS original first series had. I've got some dark gray to paint here on these little ridges. And then the inside of the nacelles here need a silver stripe. So I'll be using the masking tape, and I'll brush on some flat aluminum. And that's one thing nice about the Tamiya aluminum paints is that they brush on pretty nice. You don't really see the brush strokes when you do those. So, and then the underneath here, I've got the damage there as well. And the other thing to point out is I did do a little bit of spraying, just subtle little soot, black going over the hull here, just to give some effect of it flying through the dust clouds and stuff. So sorry about the camera flying around there. So I'm holding up the model here. It came out of the hole, so I gotta fix that. So alrighty, folks. So that's the reveal. The next stop will be the final reveal, I think, and we'll be wrapping up this video. So stay tuned. Alrighty, now it's time to take off the salt that we had rubbed off there, and hopefully this will turn out to be okay. So I have my little bowl of some water here and an old toothbrush, and I'm just going to dip very lightly in there. Not too much water. I don't want a lot getting in there. And we'll just start by brushing. And as you can see, hopefully, you can see there are some little specks of silver in there, just kind of as I wanted. Now, I'm not relying only on this method. I'm going to take a brush and some of my oily steel or steely oil paint here. I'm trying to find it as I'm oily steel. Yeah. So it's this right here, and it's kind of a multicolored, weird-looking paint that I'm going to use, and I will be hand brushing some bits in there. The reason I use this salt technique is because I wanted some paint flecking on there. So now not all of it is coming apparent, but that's okay. I did this kind of as an experiment to see what it would be like on a starship. Again, this is a method most used on tanks and airplanes and things like that, more ground-based or earth-based military vehicles, not necessarily starships. So there's some there. Okay. We got some more. Going on there. So there's a little bit there. So I'm going to continue going around here and seeing what I can get done. And now this is just painted salt that flecked off, and that's coming right off. And I will be right back, and we'll see where we are next. I don't know what is coming next, but we'll be there.